to the Anytime Sports Podcast Show. I'm your host, Colin. I'm here with my other host, Andrew. And Andrew, it's been a fun week 9. Why don't you kick us off with some NFL news heading into week 10?
Yep, it was a very eventful week to say the least. We took last week off. We had that different podcast 2 podcasts ago, but or last time we posted. But this is most definitely a very, very interesting week. Starting off with some recent news, Josh Allen has been battling a UCL injury. That is day to day still. Really, we were discussing it. It looks like he'll probably play this Sunday, but it's looking like it's day to day. So it's not going to be I don't believe season ending, but it very well could be. But I'm not hoping it's not. It probably won't be, but we'll have to see where that goes.
Yeah, I definitely hope that that it's not season ending for him. I think he had a UCL injury his rookie year. It took him I think four weeks to get out of that. So hopefully it's the same situation again. It'll only take maybe 4 weeks. I think he's gonna miss some time, to be honest, which is not ideal. But hopefully he plays this Sunday. I'm not so sure. I think they want to take a cautious week. I think you take this 1 week off. But of course in the AFC you can't take a week off, so he might be playing. So who knows? But any more news?
Colts did fire their head coach Frank Wright, and they hired interim head coach Jeff Saturday, the old center for Peyton Manning when he played for the Colts. What are your opinions on that?
Yeah, Jeff Saturday, the center for Peyton Manning in a long time. Indianapolis Colts becoming a head coach. I don't get this move. I'm gonna be honest. I don't get it as a head coaching standard. I just don't know what Jim Irsay is doing there. I think he's just pissed off that his team's not doing too well, and I honestly don't think they've recovered from what happened back in 2017. I want to say 2016, 17, when Andrew Luck left the team all of a sudden. They're in shambles right now. They were looking to have a good season, and I think things just fell apart from there. JT, especially not staying healthy. That offensive line has looked like one of the bottom worst in the league. It was only a matter of time before Frank Reich was going to get the can. He did get canned, but I don't like the replacement of Jeff Saturday. I think former player coaches are good. I think they're really good, but I don't know if an offensive lineman could coach like a head coach. We've seen player coaches go through the ranks, like Mike Vrabel, definitely one of those guys. They're physical, they're big guys, and he can relate to a lot of what the players are. And I don't know if Jeff Saturday can. I'm definitely wishing him the best of luck this season, but I think especially on this week being announced. It was announced. When was this announced?
It was like 2 days ago.
2 days ago. I don't think he'll have enough time to really establish himself as a decent coach there. I think I don't know what you're doing with Jeff Saturday, but congratulations to him, I guess. He'll be the interim head coach, but I don't know what they see there.
Yeah, really, they were kind of going for, I get a former player, but maybe you could have gone for a guy that's still out there, or maybe a former quarterback who has that experience play calling, not a center who's just, I get a center's in the offense.
How much money can you get to get Peyton Manning to come coach you down there? That'd be hilarious.
I would love to see that. All right. Now I'm going to go over some of the, this isn't part of our news. We didn't cover this last week because we didn't have a podcast. I'm going to go over some of the trade deadlines, the big names from the trade deadline. So between the Bills and the Colts, the Buffalo received Nyheim Hines, and Indianapolis received Zach Moss and a 5th-round pick.
Ian Hines didn't play much this week. He had 1 target. It was a deep target, but it was not completed. He didn't catch a single ball. He didn't play really much. Expect him, if Josh Allen is injured, expect him to see much more reps in the backfield, but it really looked like James Cook was their guy, and Devin Singletary was their guy going forward.
Yeah, really, he's going to have to be kind of like
I think it was more of a depth move.
He's going to have to be more of a Debo for them, more of a receiving back.
It doesn't make sense to me.
They don't need the help in the run game. They're already a pass-heavy offense.
They do need the help in the run game.
Yeah, I get you want to go.
Their rushing team sucks.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be able to. That'll be like one of. I'm going to say when they come up to the Jets game, the Jets won. I'm going to say something then, but I don't think they. I don't think this team's a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah. We'll have to see where they go from that. Maybe incorporate him in the offense in some tricky ways. Miami received Jeff Wilson from the 49ers for a 5th-round pick.
That was a good trade. I think Miami needed another guy in there, another fresh legs. I know they traded away Chase Edmonds, I believe. They
Yeah.
traded away Edmonds, somewhere. No, not Edmonds.
No, it was just a 5th-round pick.
They traded somebody away, and
Yeah, it was to a
then
different
they
team.
got Jeff Wilson back from not back. They got him from the 49ers.
Yeah.
So I think he played dividends last week. He had some big rushes against the Bears last week, and then hopefully they can incorporate him more into the offense. I think Miami's rolling right now, and they're
Yeah.
rolling in a positive direction, especially with Tua was back. That offense looked very fluent last week against the Bears defense. But, well, that's also the Bears defense who had traded away Roquan Smith and defensive end Robert Quinn. So that defense was already kind of in shambles, but they looked sharp. They looked sharp in the victory at Soldier Field.
Yep, most definitely. Moving on to the next. Jaguars traded for suspended wide receiver Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, I mean, that's a next year move. In my
Yeah.
opinion, that's a next year move. They're hoping he'll get reinstated at next year. I that could be a good move, but of course, if he plays more than like 50% of his snaps or whatever, I think that can eventually become a second round draft pick. That's what I'm hearing. It could become a second round draft pick if he plays a lot. You just better hope if you trade for him, he's going to be a good asset to the team.
Yep, and this was a big one. The Dolphins traded for Bradley Chubb. They gave away Chase Edmonds. You were right. A 1st-round pick next year and a 4th-round pick in 2024.
Yeah, Bradley Chubb. You saw him this week against the Bears. Almost got a key sack, but Justin Fields evaded that, and I think that was his like 70-yard touchdown.
It's really big for this team, yeah.
It was a really big pickup, and I think it's a move to a Super Bowl contending team. I think that defense definitely needed help. I think it needed help more in the secondary that it didn't need in the pass rush. But of course, adding another pass rusher that is very good does not hurt the team. But yeah, I don't have anything bad to say about that move. I just think it's a good move, I guess.
Yeah. This was a big one for us, I know, as Bears fans, but Chase Claypool traded to the Bears for a 2nd-round pick. We saw this past Sunday. We saw what he could do. There was that PI penalty that should have been called, but it didn't. He's got some targets. Just let him get into the system. I think for another week, maybe a few more weeks, he's definitely, if he develops in the offseason, we re-sign him. He could be a really good target for Justin Fields, along with Darnell Mooney. But I don't know if I agree with the 2nd-round draft pick. Pretty much, we're saying we traded Roquan Smith away for Chase Claypool, because that is pretty much what we got for Roquan Smith in return. So.
A second and a
Yeah, 2nd and a 5th, but.
Yeah. But yeah, we traded him away. I think this was more of a. The more I look at it, the more I think this is more of a defensive move. I think it's more of, hey, Green Bay's looking for a wide receiver now.
Yeah.
Let's throw our pick in there. Maybe we get him. Maybe we don't. We just don't want Green Bay to get him. I think that was more of a just don't let Green Bay get another wide receiver to get them going. Maybe Rodgers is gone at the end of the year. If Rodgers is gone at the end of the year, that Packers organization's in shambles right now. Don't know. Questions about Matt LaFleur as a coach. Can he win games? Can he win big games? I don't know if he can. Right now, that team's in shambles. There really is no explanation behind it. The Detroit Lions literally had their number this weekend. The worst scoring defense in the league just absolutely shut down the Packers this weekend, which was not very Aaron Rodgers-esque type, throwing 2 interceptions in the red zone. The team's in shambles. I think it was for the Bears. It was more of a move to stop the Packers from getting.
Yeah.
The more I look at it, it was to stop the Packers from getting Chase Claypool, and I think it was a brilliant move because if you don't want the Packers to get Chase Claypool, well, trade for him yourself if you don't want it. And I know that they only accepted the Bears offer because they thought the Bears would get a worse pick. Honestly, I think the Bears are actually going to end up winning a couple more games. They look a lot better than the Packers, and I don't see the Packers winning a couple more games.
Yeah. I know us as Bears fans, we've been waiting our whole life for this day. The Packers finally had a downfall. They don't have any receivers, really. They have
Well,
Lazard.
the problem is they got young wide receivers.
They have young wide
Like, they got
receivers. They
Romeo
just
Dobbs is very talented,
yeah.
and Christian Watson's got a lot of speed. They just need a lot of development.
Think of what could have happened this year. Maybe they could have got Jordan Love some reps with those young guys. Start building your future. But you re-signed Rodgers. I know they thought he was going to be good again, but he hasn't really showed that this year. I think in the offseason, maybe the Packers, they could draft a quarterback because Jordan Love, what he's shown, he isn't the greatest. Maybe give him some reps. So he might be better, but let's just move on.
Rumors at the end of this season are that Rodgers might retire this season.
I think he will.
And that would leave the Packers in a terrible situation where they'd be under like $40 million in cap space.
Yeah.
And that is huge. If you're under $40 million in dead cap that you can't use to improve your team, that's a mass exodus from Green Bay. You'll have Jair wanting to leave. You'll have Aaron Jones probably wanting to leave. You'll have some guys that are very talented just say, hey, they're going to have to be traded away. And you may see a rotation of QBs in Green Bay if they don't get something right. The best thing they could hope for this season is maybe tank the rest of the season, draft a quarterback. I don't know who you're going to get. You're not going to get CJ Stroud. Or maybe get CJ Stroud.
If they get one of the first overall picks, I don't think they're going to they're going to tank that far. They'll probably get a top 10 pick. But yeah.
They can use that to leverage up and maybe trade Aaron Jones to leverage up to get up there. So who knows?
Rebuild time in Green Bay. Moving on to a few of the final picks from the trade deadline. TJ Hawkinson traded to the Minnesota Vikings for a second-round pick and a third-round pick.
I like that. I like it.
I'll get to it.
I like it a lot. I like TJ Hawkinson had a great day last week. I know he didn't. I don't think did he score a touchdown. I don't think he scored a touchdown.
No, he didn't. But he put up a good amount of points.
He had a very decent day, and I think it was a great move. Kirk Cousins loves his tight end. He's been missing like Kyle Rudolph in his prime. Remember him in his prime? He was very good.
Yeah.
TJ Hawkinson was a great move. It feels like he would fit in Minnesota very well. TJ Hawkinson's very good. I like him a lot, and I think give him a couple more weeks with Kirk Cousins, and I think you'll see him thrive. I would expect some touchdowns being thrown his way. This team kind of struggled last week, not gonna lie, but they did come back from a 20-point deficit to win though. So they're on the right track. But I like the move. I don't know how about you, Andrew?
Yeah, adding him to that offense with Kirk Cousins, with Justin Jefferson, and Adam Thielen plus Dalvin Cook, throwing that other aspect of TJ Hawkinson in there, one of the top tight ends in the league, that really gives Minnesota that push they need. But
is it time to talk about how Justin Jefferson is not in the top 10 wide receiver category? Or if he is, he's at the bottom of the top 10.
If you want to have that mini hot take segment right now, you want to say he's not.
I just don't think he gets off of man coverage as well as some other wide receivers, and I don't think he elevates his quarterback more. You look at the top 5, maybe the top 5 wide receivers. Cooper Kupp, he elevates his quarterback. You get AJ Brown, he elevates in my opinion, he elevates Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill elevates Jalen Hurts. I put Jalen Waddle in that conversation.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know Jalen Waddle is very good. And if Tyreek Hill was not on the team this year, he would be getting a lot more looks, even though he is getting a lot more looks now too. Jalen Waddle, you got to put in that category. I think he elevates.
And another guy, not to add on to that, another guy in the top 5 conversation, obviously maybe top 3, Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs,
elevates that for Josh Allen.
I think also elevating Kyler Murray is DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
You got to put Hopkins in there. He's had a solid few weeks, and it looks like a different team with Hopkins out there.
Yeah.
Does Jay Jets do that? I don't know if he elevates Kirk Cousins as much. We all talk about how quarterbacks can elevate wide receivers, but sometimes it's the opposite. Wide receivers can have a huge impact on how your quarterback thinks. And he hasn't looked great the past few weeks. He has caught some passes that are wow, those are good passes. But I don't know if he's as like Jamar Chase. I don't know. I don't feel that with Justin Jefferson right now.
Yeah, I mean
it's strange.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I just don't feel it with it.
Yeah, he's shown that he can and is and has been top 5 receiver, but as of now, maybe he's not. He's fallen back. I think he had like 2 touchdowns, probably has about 2 or 3 touchdowns this season so far. I don't know if that's teams like kind of like how Jamar Chase thrived last year, they weren't figuring him out. Maybe they figured out Justin Jefferson. Now they're locking him up a bit more. They discovered his route running. So
when you look at the team, they have like, I got his stats up right here. His last game was very good. Wait, what? No, not. We're in the November, right? Yeah, we're in November. He had a pretty good game. He's had some decent games. Sorry about that. But he had just one touchdown grab in the past. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. He's had one touchdown grab. In September, he put up a performance against the Detroit Lions, 3 catches for 14 yards. He's had a couple 100-yard games this past few weeks, which have been good. But I don't know. I just feel like his touchdown production is down. I don't know.
yeah,
I just don't feel as much.
the thing that separates the top 5 wide receivers from the rest of the receivers is the fact that they can, kind of like last year, Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford single-handedly carried that team to the Super Bowl. If the quarterback has that connection with that wide receiver, you're going to be great. But Justin Jefferson, I feel like he's kind of been going down.
Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins single-handedly takes the takes the Minnesota Vikings to the Super Bowl?
No, I think the Vikings, some of their wins, especially the one against the Commanders, they were very close. The Vikings were down until the last 2 minutes, and then they came back and won. You can't be that close with a team like the Commanders. But also, let me read this. They beat the Saints by a missed field goal. They beat the Bears and Lions, obviously. They lost to the Eagles in primetime. They beat the Dolphins when the Dolphins had a third-string quarterback because Tua and Teddy were hurt. And they beat the Commanders with the final 2 minutes in the final 2 minutes of the game. So a lot of their wins have come within being really close.
We'll have to see. Are we done with NFL news now?
Yes, we'll move on.
Okay, then let's move into last week's games. We're going to dive into all the games, give our thoughts on the games. Let's start with this Thursday night football game, Philadelphia at Houston. Philadelphia ends up winning 29-17. What were your thoughts on the Thursday night football game?
A lot of people were disappointed by the Eagles' performance in this game. If you're going to be the number 1 team in the league, be undefeated, you can't be having a game this close with the worst team in the league, one of the worst teams in the league. But, yeah, Texans, they showed up. They came out to fight, and they did. But yeah.
Texans, I think turnovers hurt them the most in that game. Davis Mills had 2 interceptions in that game. He looked good in the first half. Second half, he kind of tapered off a bit. But Damian Pierce got his workload with 27 carries for 139 yards. He looked like a monster. But, yeah, I was very disappointed in this Eagles team as well. I think it shows a little bit of flaws in them. But they got the win. They won by a little bit. We're giving them less credit than I think they deserve. A little bit more credit for this one. But congratulations to the Eagles. I think they're deserving of that win. Let's head into a next matchup. How about we go with Los Angeles at Atlanta? Los Angeles barely getting the win, 20-17. What were your thoughts on this game?
I don't know what's been going on with this Chargers team. They came into this season looking like a number 1 contender. They did show up this game, but the fact that it was within a 3-point game and a field goal to win the game for the Chargers, it's very concerning for this team. I mean, Justin Herbert's been a little banged up, but they came out to play. But the Falcons, on the other hand, they have looked great. Cordero Patterson is actually putting on a show. Marcus Mariota's fitting in with the system. The passing this game wasn't the greatest. Marcus Mariota was 12 for 23, 129 yards. If Herbert had a good passing game, he was 30 for 43 with 245 yards. He did throw a pick, though.
I wouldn't call that a great passing game.
Yeah. What were your opinions on this game?
It's the same old Chargers in my opinion. Inconsistent at times. I don't know. Herbert, with all the obstacles, with all the injuries, he still managed to get a little like it was a victory, but it wasn't like a victory that it made you feel good about the team.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't a victory where it's like, okay, you were supposed to beat the Atlanta Falcons. You came here, you were supposed to beat them, but you beat them by 3. So really, did you beat them that bad? I mean, credit to this Atlanta team. They've been fighting all year. They are definitely an underrated team,
Yeah.
and they could definitely steal some wins away from teams who deserve the win. But this team looked very injured. They were missing their star wide receivers, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. They were missing them a lot. A lot of it relied on Eckler, which he played pretty good, and I give him that. But it can't always be on Eckler. Eckler will break down this season,
Yeah.
probably. You can't always do that. Herbert, he had a bad interception. All right, they just need a. I just don't like the momentum for this team. Uh, Atlanta had the ball for most of the game, 31 minutes of time of possession over 28 for Los Angeles. They both had 2 turnovers, and I don't think if Atlanta cleans up their turnovers, they win the game. They
Yeah.
win the game, in my opinion. But it was a good game, but I don't think LA looks that great, and I think they're lucky that their division sucks so bad. Besides the Chiefs.
Yeah, pretty much. And then moving on to the next, we had the Dolphins at Bears. I would say the Bears looked actually pretty. This is one of their better games this season. Probably the best game I thought. Justin Fields had a career game. He did put up, I think, beating Michael Vick's record, the most rushing yards in a regular season game by a quarterback in the history of the NFL.
Carries 178 yards and a touchdown. Yep.
Yeah, Justin Fields put on. Yeah, I mean,
it was a good offensive performance by the Bears. I think defensively it sucked.
It was
one of the worst defensive performances I've seen from the Bears in the past couple of years. But it was very bad. I mean, it just seemed like Tua with ease was throwing the ball downfield. It was with ease. Definitely think Miami deserved to win this game. I thought they were going to win this game. Bears put up a great fight, though. They're putting up a lot of points, and if you put up 30 points a game and get this defense right, I think it'll be very good. Fields looked very good. He was working. He did something out of nothing, and I think he's starting to develop into a decent quarterback. I know I give him a lot of crap on here sometimes. This is because we as Bears fans, we expect more. But I think he had a great performance, and I pat him on the back for that. I don't know how long you could be able to run in this league like that. Lamar Jackson was only able to do it for about a year. Then you gotta get a better passing game, and I think he's a smart guy. I think he's a very smart guy, and I think he'll be able to figure something out. I think Matt Eberflus has got this team coached up very well. Especially, they took that Cowboys loss and they took it into heart, and they came out here and they performed. They were not slouchovers. This is a good offensive team right now. They're hitting on all cylinders. Let's see what we can do next week with the Bears. But I think Miami, of course, they did what they needed to do to win that game.
Yeah. Surprisingly, for us Bears fans, for the first time that I can remember, we have a better offense than defense. Usually it's been our defense has been good. I'd say if we had the 2018 defense with the offense we have now, we'd be contending with maybe the Vikings in our division. But we'll have to see, because Justin Fields, he had a great game. No interceptions thrown. The Bears didn't fumble the ball any times. Great offense. What you got to get going, though, is your passing game. Like Justin Fields, like you said, he can't be running like that. He's going to get injured. This is a hard-hitting league. But, yeah, if you get that passing game going, maybe get Claypool in the system more and then test it out this next week against the Dolphins. We'll see what happens. Or not the Dolphins, the Lions. We'll see what happens there. All right, let's move on to the next. We got the Bengals and Panthers. The Bengals coming on top 42-21. This is Joe Mixon's game, pretty much.
Let Joe Mixon eat. That was the saying in the locker room probably this week. Let Joe Mixon eat. He got 5 total touchdowns. Amazing performance for Joe Mixon. 22 carries on the ground, 153 yards of 4 touchdowns. That's just insane. Carolina looked like Carolina. We knew that they weren't as good as, and they just had a couple good weeks. PJ Walker got pulled. Baker Mayfield showed up and he did decent. He's just Baker Mayfield, so I don't think he's going to bring you back from that deficit, especially that massive deficit. Joe Burrow played very good, 22 of 28 for 206 and a touchdown. It was just a Joe Mixon day, and I think the Bengals are starting to look very, very good, even though they're Jamar Chaseless.
Yeah, they're starting to show why they made the Super Bowl last year. They're starting to show how they're a future contender in this league. Really, their division's going to be fighting with the Ravens. I don't think the Steelers or Browns are going to do anything. But once you get Jamar Chase back, this team's going to be lethal. But we'll have to see where it goes.
Definitely. I definitely think that. Jamar Chase, it might be a hip fracture we're hearing. It might keep him out for the 6-week total. That's what I'm hearing coming out of the Cincinnati camp. Is that it might be a little bit worse than we think it is, and then it'll take some time to heal. But yeah. Let's head into the next game. Let's do Green Bay at Detroit. Detroit ended up getting the victory 15-9. Sorry, that is a train. I don't know, you could probably hear that. But
Green
so
Bay
loud.
Packers, what happened?
What happened indeed? Detroit winning this game 15-9. Very bad offensive performance from both of these teams. What were your thoughts on this game?
Considering the Packers were a top 5 team headed into the season, as a Bears fan, you love to see it. This Packers team is looking god awful this season. 3-6. Losing to the Detroit Lions. The Lions, we know they could show up, but their defense is awful too. But considering Aaron Rodgers threw 3 interceptions, that's not the Aaron Rodgers we know. Aaron Jones couldn't get started. He had 9 carries for 25 yards. A.J. Dillon, 11 carries for 34 yards. The top rusher in this game was Aaron Rodgers. So, really wasn't a great game for the Packers.
I think it was more of Rodgers frustrated that they're running the ball so freaking much that he's like, we're not running the ball much, we're throwing it. It did not look very good. 2 red zone interceptions, 3 interceptions total for him. And the thing that shocked me is Green Bay held the ball for most of the game. They had the ball for 34 minutes and 42 seconds, and they couldn't only get 9 points out of that. I mean, that's pretty pathetic, especially with that team. You got Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, and Alan Lazard's not a slouch. He was their leading receiver that game, but Detroit, credit to them. The worst defense in the league got it done. Jamal Williams had 24 carries for 81 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown had 4 receptions for 55 yards. So I think this Lions team, they're a hard-fought team. They're a hard out. I think they definitely fight their way to the end. I know this won't be for Detroit. This is just another little win. They're 1 win behind Chicago. Actually, they're 1 win behind Green Bay too. So I mean, who knows with this team? The NFC North doesn't look too good right now, besides Minnesota. But congratulations to Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. Hopefully they can get something going.
Yeah, really not much coming out of that division. So, all right, let's move on to the next. We got the Patriots and Colts. We'll just skip over this one. Really not much happened here besides the Patriots dominating this game. Mac Jones was 20 for 30, 147 yards, 1 touchdown. The Colts really aren't the Colts. I mean they are the Colts. They're god awful, but they put up 3 points this game, only a field goal. I mean, that's what happens. You pull Matt Ryan, you put in Sam Ehlinger. Not much is gonna happen there. I don't know if he's gonna be their quarterback of the future. If they're gonna tank and draft a quarterback, which they should. But we'll have to see where they go with that.
Frank Reich getting fired after this game is this huge thing.
Yeah.
Sam Ehlinger did not look good. I don't think it's good to fire head coach then too. It's gonna be a new offensive scheme for this guy right here. Hopefully they keep everything in place. But it's gonna be hard. I think a rookie quarterback going into that situation, it's very hard. And I don't think the Indianapolis Colts did a good job at putting things around him to help him to succeed. Of course, JT was out for this game, so that hurt a lot. But of course, showing how they get it done, the New England Patriots did. I would have liked to see it in a more convincing fashion. They didn't run the ball dominantly, and they didn't throw the ball dominantly, so they really just kind of lucked their way. They took advantage of a weak Colts team. I'm not sure what I feel about this a New England Patriots team, a 5-4 team. I don't know. I don't think you can in that division. I don't think they're a playoff team.
Yeah, I mean, this Patriots team has been back and forth all year. They're committed with Mac Jones now, but Bailey Zappi showed he could be a quarterback. So maybe if a team wants to trade for him for their future quarterback, maybe
I
go for
don't
it. But
think he did. I don't think he did.
we'll see. Let's just move on to the next game. I think this one was a big one for around the whole league. The Jets beating the Bills 20-17. The Bills looking like a top 3 team in the league, taking it out to the Jets. The Jets looking like a great team. The Jets are looking really solid. Sauce Gardner on that defense, really pulling them together. All of these years of getting those first overall draft picks is finally all coming together. Zach Wilson was 18 for 25, 154 yards. And Josh Allen was 18 for 34, 205 yards. It wasn't a great game for Josh Allen. He threw 2 picks. Stephon Diggs had 5 receptions, 93 yards. For the Jets, they had 2 interceptions. Sauce Gardner had a pick. He's looked very solid all the season. He's been clamping up receivers. This Jets team looking great in the future.
When you look at this, the Buffalo Bills, you think big play. They are a big play team.
Yeah.
They like to throw the ball downfield for big plays, and that's how they mostly get their points. Well, you can't be a one-trick pony in this league. When you have corners as good as the New York Jets have with Sauce Gardner, they got a couple good guys in the secondary back there. They look good. That's a good, solid DBs. When you're not able to pass the ball as much as they are, you need a run game. It's been like 4 years now since Buffalo's really had like a massive run game, a really good run game. You can't have your leading rusher be Josh Allen.
Yeah.
When the Bills need something, and I don't get trading for Naheem Hines. They needed someone like a CMC. They needed somebody to, which I tried to get into it reportedly, but they needed somebody to help Buffalo with their running game. You can't just have your leading rusher be Josh Allen. They're a one-trick pony right now. And if you could stop them in the pass game, you could stop them. You could stop everything, because right now the Buffalo Bills look like they're only big teams. You got to be able to run the ball like Cincinnati. You got to be able to run the ball like the Chiefs are able to run the ball sometimes. You got to be able to run the ball. If you're not able to run the ball, it's very easy for teams to stop you. You have a great quarterback like Josh Allen. Great. Let's offset it with some run game. The run game is stink. Devin Singletary doesn't seem like he's the guy. Maybe James Cook's the guy. We don't know yet. Give him some more carries. I don't get the trade for Naheem Hines as much as just for depth.
Yeah.
That's what he pretty much is for. The Jets look very good, and it's time to say the Jets are good. The Jets are a good team. Let's be honest. The Jets are a good team. But I think in order for the Jets to win, Zach Wilson just needs to not be the reason why they win and not be the reason why they lose. He just needs to be mediocre. He needs to be a Mitchell Trubisky in 2018. That's all he needs to be to win.
Yeah.
He's not going to be something that blows you out of the water. He'll give you one good performance. Just don't be the reason why you lose, and that's how they win. Garrett Wilson getting some receptions, 8 receptions, 92 yards, showing how he is a good wide receiver in this league. He's a reliable target for Zach Wilson. Only getting 8 targets, but he got 92 yards out of that. I guess they're missing Breece Hall a lot. Michael Carter, 12 carries, 76 yards, and a touchdown. They're missing Breece Hall a lot, but they're able to get it done. Credit to this team, credit to this defense. They looked very good. I think Buffalo needs to go back to the drawing board, and you need to be able to get a run game, because I don't think they'll be able to win many games in the playoffs without a solid run game.
Yeah. Really, the Jets are looking great for the future. All right, let's move on to the next one. We went over this one a bit earlier. The Vikings beating the Commanders only by 3. 20-17 was the final score. Kirk Cousins was 22 for 40, 265 yards with 2 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson, 7 receptions, 115 yards, and this was his first touchdown in 7 weeks. So, yeah, I mean, this Commanders team has not looked great. Carson Wentz being out, no one knows when he's coming back. He might be coming back in a few weeks, actually. But Heineke, just being Heineke, 15 for 28, 149 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Kirk Cousins was 22 for 40, 265 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception.
Yeah. I mean, this game was it was very interesting. I mean, the Commanders looked like early like um they were gonna pull away with this one and maybe get out with and beat Minnesota. And people were gonna say Kirk Cousins, and it's gonna be like, oh, Kirk Cousins choked again. He choked again. Well, he brought his team back. Credit to him. They scored 13 points in the fourth quarter, and that was enough they needed to win the game. They were scoreless in the second and third, but they needed to score 13 to win there, and they got it. I think this team, it's a good team, the Minnesota Vikings. They're doing very good right now. I think they'll definitely win their division. It's just how well can Kirk Cousins do in the playoffs, and how well he can do in general. It's Kirk. It'll go as far. The Vikings will go as far as Kirk Cousins can take them.
Yeah,
And when they signed him back in 2017, I want to say,
I believe so. Yeah.
when they signed him back in 2017, they were like Super Bowl. Well, that didn't happen. Super Bowl didn't happen. So let's see if he can get what you paid for. Let's get a good playoff run from Minnesota. That's what you're looking for. Minnesota didn't play as good, but in the end, they came back to win the game. Credit to that team. I think the defense is going to get better. I think that offense is going to get better. They're on a roll. Winning always helps.
Yeah. Really, they just need to get things rolling. Moving on to the next, we could go through this one pretty quick. The Raiders Jaguars. The Raiders coming out on top, 20-20, or the Jaguars coming out on top. Sorry, 27-20. The Jaguars were down 17-0, and they came back. The Raiders not looking like the Raiders we thought they were going to be coming into this season.
No, definitely not. They're my biggest surprise this season. I thought they would be doing good with all that talent they got there. They got a decent squad there, and it just hurts me to see this team not do as well. Derek Carr not doing very well this season. He had a great bounce back game this week, but they're not able to get the win. I mean, it just seems everything the Las Vegas Raiders can do is not enough, and they've only got 2 wins this season. They're 0-5 on the road. It just doesn't look good for Las Vegas right now. Something will have to be done at the end of that next season. I think it'll be with the quarterback situation. I think Carr's gone at the end of the year. I think they'll give Josh McDaniels another shot at head coach for another year. Jacksonville's still trying to build up some things. They got something with Travis Etienne there, and they're still trying to develop Trevor Lawrence. He looked very good this season. He's had a decent season. So I think they're trying to build something there, but credit to the Jaguars for getting it done.
Yeah.
They rallied from 17-0 to beat the Raiders 27-20.
Moving on to the next, speak of the Seahawks Cardinals. Seahawks coming out on top over the Cardinals 31-21. This Seahawks team, man, coming into the season, they were ranked like 32, 31 on the NFL the rankings, but they showed Geno Smith got his shot, and he showed why he can be a quarterback one. Kenneth Walker at 26 carries, 109 yards. He's going to be a big factor for this team coming into the future. And Noah Fant, who they acquired from the Drew Lock trade, 5 receptions, 96 yards. This team is looking really solid.
Very, very. It's looking very good. And with the Seahawks throwing the ball and running the ball, how well they're doing, I think they could be a legitimate, not threat for the Super Bowl, but just legitimate threat in the playoffs. Even though they are 2 games, they're 2 games ahead of the next person, the next team, the NFC West. It's kind of surprising. The next best team is San Francisco. So Seahawks will make the playoffs. It maybe look like they're in a good situation to make the playoffs. San Francisco is the only one you have to worry about. I think San Francisco looks way better than the Los Angeles Rams right now. The Rams need to get something going, and Arizona just hasn't looked very good. They needed this game a lot. If they keep their playoff chances alive, they needed to win this game. They didn't end up winning this game, and that's how it goes. And just to think, wow, the Green Bay Packers 3-6. The Los Angeles Rams 3-5. Arizona's 3-6. They all have the same record as the Bears.
Exactly.
It's just a wild season. We could all predicted the Bears not have a great season, but we wouldn't predict the Rams to have a bad season as they are. But they did. They had a bad season. I mean, it's just how it goes. And let's go into that game. Let's go into the Buccaneers Rams.
Well, this was a very sloppy game, I'd say. Rams are not looking like the Rams we saw last year. Tom Brady did come back he showed he played like Tom Brady Like the Tom Brady we know, he played and he led back a game-winning drive in the fourth quarter. They scored 10 points in the fourth quarter to win this game, 16-13. Other than that, they scored no touchdowns leading up until the fourth quarter.
Oh my gosh, Brady threw the ball 58 times.
Whew.
Holy crap.
They
That
can't.
is a lot.
Yeah,
Both these teams, in absent of a rush game, absolutely hurts them. Daryl Henderson's not really getting it done. That offensive line's not really doing good. Um, yeah, Kareem Williams. Hopefully, if he comes back, he can get a jump to this rush. I don't think he will as much. But White from the, I think Ronnie White, right?
yeah,
From the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He out carried. He out in yards. He outdid Leonard Fournette. I mean, Leonard Fournette's had a rough season. I think that whole offensive line has had a rough time. But Tampa Bay is just able to squeak by the victory. Do they look like a playoff team? Absolutely not. They look very bad right now. But they keep edging out a victory. And as long as you keep Tom Brady in the hunt, he's going to want to get in the playoffs and he's going to want to do the best he can. So I think it's dangerous if you let this team linger. Because all it takes is a couple weeks at the end of the season for it to click and Tampa Bay's taken off.
yeah. Well, yeah. If things can click for the Buccaneers, they could definitely be a playoff team. As of now, as of this moment, no. But as for the Rams, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't see anything like last year clicking in that offense except for Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford. Cooper Kupp only had 127 yards, 8 receptions. Really just a couple of long bombs to him, but the Rams, their future is in question because they don't have draft picks for like the next 6 years as we saw last year. They were a win-now team last year. They got rid of some of those key guys, and now that's showing. Cam Akers doesn't want to be there anymore. Sean McVay said once Aaron Donald and all the big guys are gone, he doesn't want to be there anymore. So really things are up in the air for that team.
Mm-hmm. Let's head into the Sunday Night Football game. Tennessee ended up losing to the Chiefs in a comeback in overtime. What were your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, the Titans, without having a passing game, they actually put on a good performance against the Chiefs. Malik Willis only completed 5 passes. I get he's a rookie quarterback. He's trying to get his offense together. Derrick Henry had 17 carries, 115 yards. But on the other hand, holy crap, Patrick Mahomes passing for 68 times, completing 43 of those. My gosh.
Yeah, it's a lot. I think Tennessee played this game perfectly.
Yeah.
I don't think you could have played it any better as Tennessee. They fought very hard. I'm going to give them a lot of credit in this loss. They played very hard. Mike Vrabel had the guys ready to play. I think they were just more physical, and I think that's let them. I think Kansas City's more like in rhythm. They're like more like talented. They're like just more. They're not as. The more physical team was Tennessee, and that showed. They got more out of their team. I'd like to give Tennessee a lot of credit. Kansas City comes back and wins because, of course, you have Mahomes there. But let's see. I want to see Kansas City dial down Mahomes' passing just a little bit and hand the ball off a little bit. I think it'll help them in the long run. I think it'll help this team. I know they can run the ball. They've showed that they can run the ball in the past. Let's get a little bit more running game with Kansas City, and let's see where things are.
Yeah, really gotta see what's gonna happen there in the future. Let's move on to the final game of the week. We got the Ravens and Saints. The Ravens coming out 27-13. The Saints,
I personally didn't watch this game.
Yeah, neither did I.
But I just looking at it, I was like, did the Saints struggle that much? Really? They really struggled, and it's been uncharacteristics in the last couple weeks with Andy Dalton under center. They've been scoring 30 points a game. I mean, this team looked very good, but it just looked like Lamar Jackson threw his 100th career touchdown pass. Congratulations to him. It just seems like this Ravens team's getting things going at the right time. I think the Saints are in a little bit of a lull because they need a quarterback. Maybe next year they can get some. They got some offensive talent there. They got Olave. They got Kamara. They got some offensive talent, but Kamara only getting the ball 9 times for 30 yards. That's like kind of unacceptable. He'll for sure have a bounce back game next week. But congratulations Baltimore. I think they're doing pretty well, and they need to keep winning.
Yeah, most definitely. Baltimore's got to keep rolling, but and then a few highlights or a few key teams that were on bye week this past week were the Browns, Cowboys, Broncos, Giants, Steelers, and 49ers. They all didn't play this week, and then moving on to next week, let's make our predictions. You want to start off with the Falcons and Panthers?
Yeah, I'm clicking on it. There we go.
Real quick before we start, I'm going to go over the teams on bye week this week. We got Bengals, Patriots, Jets, and Ravens all on a bye. So
All on a bye week. Let's go to the Thursday night football game. Atlanta Falcons traveling to the Panthers. I'll pick this one first. I'm going with Atlanta. I like how they've been playing. Marcus Mariota's been playing pretty good. I think they get another win, and I think they improve their record to 5-5.
yeah, I haven't really seen anything special out of this Panthers team that would make me pick them to beat the Falcons. Both these teams have struggled. Both these teams have done good, but I've seen more good out of the Falcons, so I'm going to take the Falcons as well.
I like that. I like what Carolina's doing. I like that PJ Walker's starting again. I think that'll get the offense a little bit better. I don't know. I don't really like Baker Mayfield, but I think PJ Walker will get them going. The last time they played, this was a high-scoring affair, a very good matchup. I'm excited to see this game Thursday night, and hopefully they can do something. But let's go into the next one. What's the next one?
The next game we got is the Seahawks Buccaneers.
Seahawks, Buccaneers.
The Germany
Seahawks,
game.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's the Germany game. What do you like in this game?
It could go either way, really, because Tom Brady, he was rolling at the end of last week. I know you're probably going to say the Seahawks, so I'm going to say the Bucs in this one, just so I have a pick over you if Tom Brady shows up and plays.
I like your pick a lot. I like Buccaneers, and I was almost going to pick Buccaneers. But I like how the Seattle team is rolling. And if they can roll with the run game, if they can get the pass game going like they have been, they've got some weapons. And I think their defense has played absolutely phenomenal. I like the Seahawks in this one. I'm going to go with the Seahawks. I know you're going to go with Tampa Bay, so I'm going to go with the Seahawks in this one. But this is a very interesting one. We've seen teams show up in London, and we've seen teams not show up in London. And I know this game's not in London, but it's still overseas. So will they show up overseas or will they not? We don't know with some of these teams. That's why it's a kind of a wild card pick. But I'm glad we're going separate on this one. But I'm going to go to Seattle in this one. Let's head into the Lions at Chicago. Who do you have in this one?
I'm going to have to say the Bears in this one just because I liked what they did last week. I think the Lions, although they beat the Packers, I don't think the Packers were that great. I think the Bears, once they play the Packers later this season, they're going to beat the Packers. But I'm going to say the Bears in this one. They looked a lot better.
I'm taking the Bears in this one, if I'm going to be honest. I'm taking the Bears. I like how they've been doing offensively, and I think they're just a little bit better offensively. Well, a lot better than offensively than Detroit has been. I don't think Detroit can keep up, even though I think it'll be actually a high-scoring game. But I don't know. I think Chicago pulls away in the end just because they've showed that they have got some. Justin Fields has shown that some developed in the past few weeks, and I really like them. I think they'll end up winning this one.
Yeah. This will be a good game. Let's move on to the next. This is going to be the real test for the Vikings to see if they're not a fraud team. So they're playing the Bills. The Vikings-Bills. Bills coming back off that loss against the Jets. Who do you got in this one? This could go either way.
The Vikings-Bills game?
Yep.
It all depends on if Josh Allen plays.
Yeah, he's questionable now.
Okay, I'm going to do a what-if scenario. If Josh Allen does not play, I'm taking the Vikings. If Josh Allen plays, I'm taking Buffalo. I need to get some water, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, if Josh Allen does not play, he's taking the Vikings. If Josh Allen plays, he's taking Buffalo. I'll do the exact same thing as him. I think that's going to be the deciding factor of this game. Both these teams are pretty much identical. They both have that star receiver, although Justin Jefferson hasn't been getting it started. We'll have to see where that goes, but I'm going to agree with you on that. I'll take the if.
It's the Diggs revenge tour.
But, yeah, Diggs revenge tour. Okay.
I like it, especially because they're playing in Buffalo right now, I think. The second loss of the season to the Vikings will be given. And this is a nice game at noon. I thought this game should be flexed to a night game.
It should have.
It's a good game.
Okay.
It should have. Shame on you, NFL. Flex them.
Let's move on to the next. We got the Broncos traveling to Tennessee to take that into the Titans. Who do you got here?
Give me I don't know. Oh, is Malik playing?
Is there any reports on that this game?
Tannehill's questionable.
I know if I'm gonna pick first, I'm gonna say the Titans, but
You're gonna pick the Titans.
I think they're gonna have a little bit more leverage over the
I was
Broncos.
gonna pick the Titans as well.
You could take them as well.
Off the bye week, I'm picking Denver off of a win. They had a bye week. They're coming into this matchup. I know Tennessee's got a great defense, but I'm picking Denver. I think Russ can get something going. I'm probably gonna regret that pick, but I'll pick Denver. Why not?
We'll see what happens. All right, let's move on to the next. We got the Dolphins.
Jaguars traveling the Chiefs.
Okay, Jaguars, Chiefs.
I don't know which one you're looking at.
I was gonna go to the Dolphins, Browns.
Okay, let's go to the Jaguars, Chiefs.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna take Kansas City in this one. How about you?
Yeah. I mean,
Quick, convince yourself.
I don't know if I could do it. The Jags were rolling at the beginning of the season. These past couple of weeks haven't looked the best for them, but I'm gonna take the Chiefs in this one with you as well. I can't convince myself yet.
Yeah, Travis Etienne's look good. I
Not
don't know
enough.
about Trevor Lawrence as much. I don't think it's enough. I think Kansas City still rolls through Jacksonville. Let's go with Dolphins Browns. The ones that I think you went before. I'm picking the Dolphins in this one.
Yeah, I mean, this is week 10, so it's 3 weeks until Deshaun comes back. So I think the Browns are going to lose. If Deshaun was here, maybe that'd be a different story. I want to see what happens when he comes back. We'll see where that goes, but I'm taking the Dolphins in this as well.
Yeah, I'm taking the Dolphins. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Texans at Giants. I'm taking the Giants in this one.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Giants as well. The Texans really haven't shown anything this year. Their defense has been awful. The offense hasn't been great. So I'm going to take the Giants in this, who have been rolling, and they're coming off a bye week.
Let's go to the Saints at Steelers. Who do you got in this one? I'm picking the Saints.
Yeah. Steelers really trying to figure things out with Kenny Pickett.
Marshawn Lattimore questionable. Jarvis Landry questionable.
In this case, just so I could get one over you, I'm going to say Steelers. I don't believe
Okay.
I
don't mind the
this
pick.
This game could go either way, really. It depends who shows up, who wants to play, and who wants to win this game.
Both teams are under 500. It could go either way, but I'm gonna pick the Saints over this one.
Colts Raiders.
Oh, give me the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean,
More confident in Derek Carr than I am confident in Sam Mellinger.
It's gonna be Jeff Saturday's first game, I think. Just so I could get another one over you, if this plays out, I'm gonna take the Colts. He's gonna get a win in his first head coaching gig, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see where this.
You
goes.
get that pick the balls on that one. I would give you a huge round of applause if the Colts end up winning this one. But I get what you mean. Las Vegas has blown a lot of leads, so I see where you're coming from in that one.
Yeah,
I see where your vision is.
We'll
Hopefully, JT's healthy. We don't know yet, but yeah.
We'll have to see where that goes.
Let's head into the Cowboys traveling to the Packers. I'm taking the Cowboys in this one.
Yeah, I don't see why anyone in their right mind could take the Packers here. They're a bottom.
Right mind would turn on this game. This is such a shit game.
I know.
Two bad teams. Not two bad teams, but two of the most hated.
Well, I would turn on the game just to watch the Packers absolutely get demolished. But I didn't think at one point in my life I was going to see the Cowboys and Packers being a bad matchup. But
this is a bad matchup.
It's a terrible matchup. Packers are a bottom 5 team in the league. You could say that. So I think Cowboys are coming on top on this one. There's no competition here.
Yeah, I'll take the Cowboys as well. Let's head into the Cardinals at the Rams. This is a very interesting matchup. Both these teams need a win if they want to be able to maybe sneak in the playoffs. Rams are favored in this one, but that doesn't mean a lot. Arizona looked pretty decent last week. Let's see, who do you have in this one?
This could go either way. It depends. Rams, we know they could play, but you want to pick first? I'll pick who you don't pick.
I want to pick Arizona.
Okay.
I like Arizona in this one. I think another week, another more meshing with Hopkins. I think I like Arizona in this one. I think Arizona could pull out the win. I just don't see the Rams just don't look good. They need a running game a lot.
Yeah.
They need a running game like now, in my opinion. And hopefully they might get it with Kareem Williams. They um Sean McVay likes Kareem Williams a lot. It's just I don't know. They don't run the ball as much because their offensive line kind of stinks, but you need to run it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on to the Niners coming off a bye week to play the Chargers.
Ooh, I like this matchup. I'm just gonna say give me the Niners in this one. I love their defense, and I love how that offense has been playing. They've been rolling. I'm gonna say give me the Niners.
I'm gonna say the Niners as well. I think CMC is gonna come off his bye week with a little more familiarity with this Niners offense. He's gonna get more involved. He's gonna get more rushes, and we saw what he did right before the bye week, his second week with the team. How he put up that many points in fantasy. How he put up that many yards. He gets more involved in that system. That team's gonna be great. But I think the Niners are gonna win this one as well.
I agree. I just don't like the health of that Chargers team. I don't think it's very healthy right now. Let's head into the Monday Night Football game. The last game we're going to pick. Commanders traveling to the Philadelphia Eagles in primetime Monday night. Who do you have in this one?
Eagles are rolling. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a close game, but I think the Eagles are going to pull this one out.
I think the Eagles will pull it out. I just don't like... Commanders aren't putting up as many points as Philadelphia is. I don't think I could see them putting up like 30 points.
Yeah.
I think they're going to need 30 points to win. So I'm going to go with Philadelphia in this one.
Yeah.
Sadly. Even though I want to pick Philadelphia to lose because I don't think they're a real team as much as people think they are.
Real quick before
they just got a great schedule.
Real quick before we end, I saw this post earlier that showed how some of their games are really close. I saw this post on Instagram. It was how the Eagles are a fraud. They beat the worst defense in the league, which is the Lions, in Week 1 by 3 points. They beat Kirk Cousins in primetime. They beat the Commanders. Okay. They beat Trevor Lawrence. Okay. Well, it was at home. He sucks at home. They beat the Cardinals without D-Hop. They beat Cooper Rush. They beat the Steelers, which are one of the worst teams in the league, and they struggled versus the Texans. Easy schedule, if you ask me. Besides the Vikings game, which it was primetime Kirk, we'll have to see where they go because they haven't played the Giants yet. They still got to play the Giants twice this year. They're gonna play the Cowboys once again. We'll have to see what happens.
I agree.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, I think we're done with today's episode. This has been the Anytime Sports Podcast Show. Hope you enjoy. If you did enjoy, please drop a like, drop a comment down below. Subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you all next time.
I like those colors.